and we are continuing our 2015 Gen Con coverage. I'm here at the AEG booth with Mark, who will be showing us a new game that still hasn't hit the market, but will very, very shortly, called Dice City. Thanks for doing this for us, Mark.
Yeah, no problem. It's my pleasure.
So give us a quick explanation of the overview of the game so everybody at home can enjoy it.
Okay, so Dice City we've called it a dice crafting game. The idea is that you're trying to build the most fantastic city to be the new capital, and you've got a number of different ways you can do that. But what happens is the locations that you put in your city effectively become the faces of the various dice that you have. The game's played on a grid, as you can see here. There are colours to the left-hand side of the board, and the dice number along the top. The game's played over 3 phases. The last thing you do on your turn, or the thing you do at the start of the game, is you roll your dice, and you place them on the board according to where they are on the grid. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can see the colours down here. The game's played in 3 steps. The first step is a dice step, and this is basically where you're using the various dice that you've got on your city. Here we've got it just set up as at the start of the game, so we haven't really built anything additional. Right. This is your base starting position. There are 5 things you can do with the dice. You can take them off to activate them. So here on the forest you get 1 wood. If you take this dice off here and activate it, you get 1 stone from the mountain. And elsewhere we've got the cave. So you're building up resources, and these are the resource tokens here. We've got wood, we've got stone, we've got iron. So that's one of the things you can do during the dice step. The other things you can do though are things that kind of help you in other ways in the game. So I can take a die off. Suppose like with this roll I haven't got any iron. I can take a die off to move any other die 1 space left or right. So I have a degree of control about how my use of dice pans out. It's not purely random.
Right. Okay. Good. You got a little bit of mitigation.
Yeah, a little bit of mitigation, and it brings that strategy into the game.
The Gen Con God has interrupted us again.
Yeah, I just stopped talking now when the mic goes right. My throat's virtually gone from time to talk when the mic's on, so I just stopped.
It's only Saturday, Mark. We still have all of today and tomorrow.
Yeah, I got to save it, right? So yeah, you can use the location beneath the die. You can use a die to move another die horizontally. If you don't like the building options you've got here, the game always has 8 of the buildings 8 of the locations off the location deck. If you don't like what's on offer here, you can get rid of a die and you can refresh 4 of the buildings, discard 4, and get 4 new ones.
Oh, very cool.
That can help you with your strategy. You can also use it to hinder other players with their strategy if you see things that are
right, that are good for them. You want to remove it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Okay. The 4th thing you can do is once per turn you can generate a pass token. It will occasionally happen that you have an odd die that you can't use. So for example, if you've got this roll at the start of the game, you've got 4 different resources, which would be great, but you've got a military location here giving you 1 army strength. Right. 1 army strength is not really going to do much for you, so to mitigate that, what you can do is you can take this off and you can collect a pass token, which is one of these tokens here. Pass tokens can also be used in the dice phase, so I'll sort of come on to those next. The other thing you can do is sometimes during the game your buildings will become deactivated, your locations will become deactivated. Here we can see a location which has a cost to it, which is to deactivate it, but you get 1 of each resource, so it's quite a powerful building. If a building is deactivated, it can't be used for anything. So one of the options I have is to take a die off and remove it. And because you can use your dice in any order, again, that becomes part of the tactics of the game. So if I was in this situation, I've landed my red die on the bazaar, but I can't use it because it's deactivated. So I might choose to say, hey, I'm going to reactivate that building. Now I'm going to use it and deactivate it, but I get my 3 resources. And actually, I could then choose to reactivate it again if I had another spare die. Say, oh, I'm going to leave it ready for a future turn. So there's 5 things you can do with the die step. But I did mention the pass tokens. These are kind of can be used to help you with these odd spare dice that you have. You can trade 2 pass tokens in for any resource, so they're kind of like a wild card.
Okay.
You can trade 2 pass tokens in to add 1 to your army strength for that turn. Okay. Or you can trade 2 pass tokens in to make every other player re-roll 1 die of your choice. So if you see that everybody else is looking like they're going to have a really good turn, you can kind of mess with that a little bit. So you store up your pass tokens and
Now you mentioned the army, add the strength to army. How does the army work in
So
the game?
after the die step, I'm glad you asked. After the die step, you go to the attack step, right?
Okay.
So the attack step, you've got three things you can do. First of all, you see there's some bandit cards out here. These are the best victory points for army cost in the game.
Okay.
So attacking the bandits is a good idea. Various locations, like the initial starting one, but I'm going to show you now the watchtower. Add swords to your army. So at the end of your die step, you will have an army total from 0 to
Whatever.
whatever. So, for example, the watchtower adds 3 swords to your army, but these can only be used to attack bandits. So you can see with the correct use of your dice, you get to a situation here where I have 4 attack against armies against bandits. So what I do in my attack step is I either attack a bandit and take that and put it down in front of me, and what you'll see here is that they have victory points at the end of the game. The other thing I can do is I can attack other players' locations.
Oh, no, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. So other players' locations also have a defense value, and they have a victory point value. When I attack somebody else's location successfully, it's the same thing. I have to have an army strength equal to the number. I deactivate it, and I gain victory points equal to its victory point value.
Oh, okay.
I take that and put it face down in front of me.
Okay, very cool.
The third thing I can do is I can steal resources that anybody else has in stock. So if I've got 2 armies, which is not enough to attack any of the bandits and won't work against many of the locations, but you've got a wooden supply that I can use. I can take the wood.
Okay.
Okay. So you got those 3 things, and like most things in Dice City, I can combine them. So if I got 9 attacks, say, I could maybe take at the 4 strength bandit, attack a 3 strength building over here of yours, and then another player over there. I could steal one of their resources.
Right.
So
Okay.
I can use all of my armies to do whatever I like.
Very cool. This looks like a lot of fun. I love the artwork. It's got that little guys here. I don't know if you could get a shot of this dude here. He's really small. They're all these little guys, really cute. And almost mean that you can attack other players. It's really cool. I love the dice rolling aspect, and more importantly, the mitigation aspect and the combinations you can do, and how you move the dice to affect other dice is really cool as well.
So the combinations is where it really starts to shine. Both in terms of the way it's not just the locations, but it's the way you place them. Which brings me neatly onto the third step.
Oh, wow. Okay, there's a third step. I thought
about
the game works fine without
it. You need to be able to build locations, right?
Oh, right.
So the third step is after you've garnered all your resources from the various places that you've rolled these resources, you've got these resources in stock.
Right.
Okay, so let's imagine I have this in my stock. The third step is the build step. And what I'm going to do with the build step is I'm going to buy. We've got a set of 4 stock buildings here that are always available, and then we turn 8 off the top of the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, there it is. Okay. There are 4 different types of buildings that come from the location. From the location deck. There are civic buildings, which are the blue buildings. They tend to be really good at making your other buildings shine.
Okay.
There's the economic buildings, which are yellow and have the coin, and they tend to be very good for generating resources. The military buildings are red, and they tend to be good for attacking the bandits or the players or stealing resources. And then we have the cultural buildings, which are the purple ones. They tend to be better at generating victory points.
Victory points at the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
And during the game. I mean, the mana gains 2 victory points every time you land on it, every time you activate it.
Wow,
okay. So, and the festival hall, you get 1 victory point for every 2 resources in your supply. So, in the last step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these resources and I'm going to spend them. Again, a bit like the armies, I can spend them any way I want. So I've got a 2 stone and an iron and a wood here. I could spend 2 stone to get a quarry,
right?
Which would leave me an iron and a wood, and I could use the iron and the wood to get a bazaar. So this might be something I would want to do if I was going for a strong economic strategy.
Right.
Because
and you can place them anywhere?
Yeah, you can place them anywhere. I cash those in, and I can literally place them anywhere. And this is obviously where part of the skill of the game comes, because you have you do have other buildings, like there's one in here called the cemetery, which allows you to use the ability of any other location on that row. So, I obviously want to be placing my cemetery on a row where I've got a key card that I want to get multiple uses out of.
Right.
And so, some of the locations affect other locations. in different ways. So, you know, I want to place them
You're
together.
gonna,
Or
the placement
them.
of the building.
And then I've got to think about, you know, the die roll. Are the two buildings that I want to try and get going at the same time? Because if there are, I don't want to put them on the same row, and so on. You can literally build the buildings anywhere. I mean, absolutely anywhere. You can even build one building over another. It's not usually a good idea because you only get victory points at the end of the game for the
for the
top
one
building.
showing. Okay.
For what's showing. So, so basically, that's what happens in the build set. But the other thing you can do during the build set is, rather than build locations in your city, if you feel your city's clicking nicely and doing the thing you want, you're generating a lot of resources, you can invest in trade ships. A little bit like bandits, trade ships give you a really good VP bang for the buck, but obviously they don't go on here and do anything. They're just good VPs, and like the bandits,
They go into the scoring
you
pile.
simply take them and put them here.
Okay.
And that's the game. It's got those 3 simple steps.
When does the end game trigger?
Oh, right, you want to know how the game ends?
That's
Important.
right. That's
So there's 4 end game conditions. So if any 2 rows of a player are filled with active buildings, then the game ends.
Okay.
If any 2 of the trade ships are completely depleted, the game ends.
The game ends. Okay.
The other 2, if all of the bandits are defeated, the game ends, and if all of the locations in the location deck have been turned over, the game ends. Now, obviously that can happen.
Rare, right?
It happens less, but I mean, because you can say, I'm going to refresh 4 buildings, I'm going to refresh 4 buildings.
That's right.
You know, if a couple of players are digging deep for buildings, it's surprising how quick that can go down.
That's right.
And sometimes when that happens, if 2 of you have been digging for buildings quite a lot, and you think you're ahead, you can just start digging just to try and
do the end game, and so you can win.
Yeah. So it does happen. It's probably less than the other 3, to be fair, but yes, it does happen. I think that's Dice City, it comes with all the components. Obviously, we've not got all of them out there. There are more components than this. We've got our little bag here, but we just put these out so that people can...
Now, the game is not out yet, but this is the final production, and it looks great. The board's nice and sturdy. You can tell the cards, high-quality cards.
Comes with 4 boards, 1 for each player. Obviously, we've got other boards here out of shot. A nice, big, friendly rule book with lots of illustrations.
Full of it, yeah. There you go.
So.
And when's the planned release for this?
We're going to release it in October. We're going to release it around about Essen time.
Essen time?
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those great games. More or less, once you've played the first turn, everybody at the table knows how to play. It's really that kind of thing. And then it
looks simple enough, but with enough tactics and strategy.
So almost everybody I've demoed this to, they start off the first game and they just buy buildings and kind of go, oh, put this there, because you don't know the game. And then sort of 20 minutes in, they'll go, oh, wait a minute, if I put that there, and oh, there's a building that does this. Connects, right. And of course, as you get better at the game, you start to realize actually there are strategies as well as tactics. It's not just a case of rolling the dice and hoping. You can actually build up to very, very reliable cities that can maximize what they want to do on a very regular basis. So although the dice have an impact,
you can mitigate them.
You can absolutely mitigate. You can really mitigate them. I mean, I'm not going to give too many strategies away because I've played the game lots of times. But you can try and go for very strong individual strategies like economy or cultural or military, or you can try combination strategies which can work quite well as well if you get the right combinations of cards. So there's different ways to sort of attack the problem, I guess. And you've got to think about what other people are doing because you may be competing for the same
trying to take their building out and stuff.
Yeah,
well, this looks very, very cool. We can't wait for the release.
Very easy to learn, but quite difficult to master.
That sounds really cool. We can't wait for AG to bring this out to the public, and as soon as it does, hopefully we get some reviews for you. All right? Thanks a lot, Mark. Much appreciated.
Nice to meet you.